Hello, everybody in Twitch land, as well as here at PAX West. We are here for a lovely panel with these three fine gentlemen.
Lovely gentlemen.
This is your day one in One Tamriel. What to expect when you log in the first time you hit the button of play, besides after you get your character selected in the game. So over here we have Mike Finnegan,
Dungeon
the
Lead.
lovely Finninator.
The Finninator.
The Finninator on Twitter. Follow him. We're serious. That's his real. It's at Finninator. Then we have Slash Lark, aka Rich Lambert, the creative director, and our lovely systems lead, Philip Drayden.
You're lovely.
These guys, he's lovely. He is lovely, isn't he?
It's the flowing locks.
It's the flowing locks.
That's what it is.
These gentlemen are going to tell you all about your first day in One Tamriel, and without any further ado, have at it, boys.
Thank you, Mr. Wheeler. So, this panel is all about...
About? Sorry.
I got like a sentence out, and you already started.
I'm sorry.
This is gonna go great.
Oh,
That's
man.
because it's what it's about.
Are you done?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, good.
Sorry.
So this is all about what you can expect when you log in the first day One Tamriel goes live. So, quick overview. The goal with this update is to remove all of the level barriers to zones. You know, the game is not going to tell you you're not ready to go to this zone because you're not high enough level. You can just go anywhere, explore any way you want to go. In addition, you can play with anybody you want because we're also removing the alliance restrictions. So now Alliance is the team that you're going to PvP with in Cyrodiil. Outside of that, you can just play with anybody you see. Wheeler's like, win, Cyrodiil! We're adding weapon ultimates to the game. So with those, they're going to work a little bit differently than other ultimates do in that you have to master the skill line before you can unlock them. And then when you unlock them and slot them, you can only use them when you have the weapon equipped for that particular ultimate. We've increased the champion point cap. So added another 30 champion points in there. So make sure you log in and spend your skill point or your champion points. We separated story from difficulty in dungeons, and Mike will get into that a little bit more. We added a ton of new daily quests, especially for Mages Guild and Fighters Guild. We re-atomized the entire world. That's just like a little bullet point in there, but
little bullet.
it was huge.
It's like 5 slides.
Did
Right.
that
so.
too.
So Phil will talk about that in a little bit. We redesigned how Craglorn works. So now it's more of a solo. The main story, the crit path through the zone, is more solo friendly, and everything else is tuned more for duo and small group instead of a hard 4-person group. And there's tons and tons more. Phil, why don't you start talking?
Yeah. So
Good transition. Good transition.
It's good.
I'm on it.
Nailed it.
In terms of some of the first things you'll see when you start playing after update 12 goes live, you'll actually see changes in your quest journal because we wanted to improve the messaging of what type of quest you're going to be getting if you're expected to do it with a group or by yourself. It's the kind of thing that you can do over and over again or do once a day. So the UI team has done some great work on clarifying exactly what you're getting yourself into with your quest. That also shows up in your tracker and on your compass too, which is good. That kind of came out of some of the Craglorn changes because we were trying to clarify what the crit solo path was versus the group content. A couple other things that you might not notice right away, but the monsters will no longer show their levels. This is because the whole game is now battle leveled. Everybody is effectively champion 160 behind the scenes, and so monsters don't need to tell you that they're 160. They still will show what tier of difficulty they are with the pips around the plate, the nameplate, but you won't need to see the level anymore because it'll always be the same.
That generally kind of makes it easier to see difficulty because you don't have to worry about the level of the monster anymore.
Kind of jumps out at you.
Just have the pips.
Yeah. And then we also improved some of the functionality of the craft bag, which is a feature that went in recently that we're really proud of that makes the game so much nicer for collecting crafting resources. It's a SO Plus benefit. But some players had asked for some additional features for being able to turn it on and off at will and being able to manually stow all their items into this near infinite craft bag. And so those are going to be going in with 12 as well.
Right, and the way that works is if you have the option, it's in the UI, I don't remember where it is, if you turn it off, then the materials won't automatically go into your craft bag, and then you'll have a little button that you can hit in the UI to stow it, so you can do it at your own pace rather than every time you zone or log in or log out.
Yep. And then one of the big changes here is, so with One Tamriel and everyone being battle leveled, we still wanted your equipment to be relevant. We still wanted you to have that progression with your character as you leveled up. And so one of the key things you'll see on your character screen is this equipment bonus indicator. The equipment bonus reflects how much of a benefit you get based on having equipment that is close to your level. So if you're level 25, you're going to get that largest bonus by having level 25 gear. And if you're level 25 and you have level 15 gear, you'll see that that bonus starts to drop over time, encouraging you to
I think it says kind of like Yelp for your gear.
I don't know. But
Just the way I look at it.
sure.
Next slide.
Right.
That's right.
One star.
Yeah, and
you don't want to go there for lunch.
I believe we also have an
Really?
indicator there to try to encourage you to upgrade your lowest piece of gear. So if your belt is level 5 and everything else is level 20, it'll be like, yo, get a new belt. So that's the UI, but there's also a lot of content. And in addition to just battle leveling the whole world and removing the alliance barriers and those things, there's new quest content as well. And so this takes the form of new dailies. And so there's 3 new types of dailies that weren't there before. There's the Undaunted, which is going to send you into delves as opposed to the Undaunted pledges. These are Undaunted dailies to do various tasks. It will give you Undaunted reputation though, which is important. So you have another method of ranking up your Undaunted skill line. The Mages Guild and Fighters Guild will also send you in the world. These again are in addition to going out and killing Daedra for the Fighters Guild to get rep and doing dolmen and collecting the Mages Guild books for the reputation. This is just an additional way to rank up your Mages and Fighters Guild by doing these dailies. They also have some unique rewards, which we'll get into a little bit later.
There's also new dungeon modes. So every dungeon now first of all, we've decoupled story and difficulty. So before, if you played it like Veteran Fungal Grotto, you would know that's a different story than normal Fungal Grotto, and we separated that out. So now there's going to be a Fungal Grotto 1 and a Fungal Grotto 2, and each one of those is going to have a normal and a veteran version. So what that means is there's 20 some odd new veteran dungeons and several new normal dungeons. Another thing we did in here, which is really good for if anybody's played a dungeon or trial and entered after people have progressed through it.
All the time.
We've
Imperial
added
City Prison.
Imperial City Prison.
Oh my God, they're gonna run.
So if you jumped in Imperial City Prison and they were on the last boss, you had about a half-hour run before you got to the end. So what we added in now is dungeon checkpointing. So after you kill each boss, a portal will spawn at the entrance, which allows anybody to instantly click that portal and teleport to the last boss that was killed. In trials, it's going to help out if you need to go back and repair. You can then go back, repair, click the portal, go to the last boss, and then progress through.
So I touched on this one a little bit with Craglorn. The team went back and revisited how it worked. The original intent of the zone was you kind of had to have a group in order to participate in it, and we've changed that now so that there is solo content there. That's the main story, the critical path, so everybody can participate in that. We've gone back and looked at all of the really hard group-gated puzzles. There were a number of puzzles in, say, Ronnie Zah or Shada's Tears, where he had to have 4 players do something at the same time in order to progress. We changed those so a solo player could do those if they wanted to. And a lot of those spaces have been tuned more towards smaller groups. So 2, 3, 4 player type spaces. If you want to try and Iron Man it, you can now. But we really wanted to make sure that this was now a space that is still flush with group content, but also you can go there now as a solo player, participate in it, and then find people to kind of help you out with some of the group content.
So holidays, these aren't necessarily something you'll see day 1 in One Tamriel, but it is going in with package 12, so we wanted to talk about it a little bit. We've touched on some events in the past with the anniversary event and the Imperial City event that's happening right now with double Telvar stones, but we wanted to go...
Players thank you. Plug Imperial City.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. But we wanted to go even further, and obviously Tamriel has a lot of rich lore, a lot of traditions and festivals and things, and we wanted to start tying in those into our game. And so the first two holiday festivals that are going to be coming over time with Update 12 in October and December, respectively, is the Witches Festival and the New Life Festival. These are going to be more fun experiences. You are going to get bonus experience during these events, but you're also going to be able to get a lot of unique, interesting rewards from unique recipes and new motifs that are only available during this time period, special consumables and collectibles. These will be tradable, so if you miss out, you can buy them from someone that participated, or, I don't know what they're talking about.
We're good.
Okay.
Keep going.
Pumpkin spice.
Or, yeah.
Pumpkin. Pumpkin?
Oh, God.
Matt, you've been here too long.
I was hoping there was going to be one time you didn't bring up pumpkin spice.
No,
Of course.
never.
Wanted to mention pumpkin specifically.
Yeah, so lots of unique stuff, not necessarily pumpkin spice based, but I think people will enjoy it.
Scary
A lot
spice.
of these are geared towards kind of the lore hounds and the role players.
Oh,
We wanted to
absolutely.
focus a little bit more on them for a lot of these events. So I think that group is going to be really excited about these.
And some of these will be sending you all over the world, and we're also going to be looking at collecting a lot of feedback on these because these are kind of the first big holiday events we'll be doing. So let us know what you like, let us know what you don't like, let us know what you'd like to see more of, and we'll most likely incorporate that moving forward. We also plan on bringing them back and maybe even augmenting them year after year, so we'll see how that goes. Another thing that came into this quite a lot with Package 12 are new achievements.
There's a lot.
There are a lot. Obviously, the achievements tie in with the dungeons, and
Yep.
with all of the new variants on the dungeons, we needed all of the new variants on the achievements. These also will give you Undaunted Rep, just like the other dungeon achievements would, and so there are more ways to get it in addition to the dailies, so you have that, and then the dailies themselves have achievements associated with them. Revamp Craglorn, a lot of the achievements have been effectively converted, but there are a few new ones.
New ones, yep.
And then the holidays will also give you additional reward achievements, which then tie into titles and dies and things like that. So it's just adding to what we already have, but tying into everything that we've added with 12. And itemization.
So in order to reinforce kind of like the rewards for players to get for dungeons, we redesigned the pledge system. So before you had Mage and Galarian, and they would give you pledges, and sometimes Galarian would give you a pledge for White Gold Tower or ICP, and that was an instant nope for some people. So what we did was we broke this out, so there's now 3 pledge givers, and Mage will give 12 pledges, Galarian will give up to 12 pledges, a choice of up to, or one pledge up 12 possible. And then there's a new pledge giver named Uglarg who gives you pledges specifically for the DLC dungeons. Another thing is the it was kind of a crapshoot with if you didn't get a gold key, whether you got a shoulder from a pull from one of the chests. So you had a bronze chest, a silver chest, and a gold chest, and only the gold chest was a guaranteed reward. We've ripped that out, and now there's only one key anymore. There's just an Undaunted key. So if you have gold, bronze, or silver keys in your inventory, they get converted to Undaunted keys, and then you get a shoulder every single time you use it on a chest. The bronze, silver, and gold chests are now renamed to the pledge givers, and they will give shoulder pieces corresponding to the pledges that those people will give. Also, with that means we created 16 new Monster Mask and shoulder sets. So to have even more of a collection option.
And they're all unique and super cool.
They're all
with
unique
effects
and
everything.
super cool. And
People are all over PTS right now.
yeah, people are all over PTS
Theory
playing
crafting
with
them
them
right
and
now,
messing with them and giving us feedback on them and stuff. So really allows you to kind of like get the proper rewards and a more consistent reward.
And yeah, and so even more than just the dungeons, having
The
everything.
whole frickin' game.
The
Yeah.
whole freaking game. Shout out to my team who's done months of work on this. We really had to look at how all items were being distributed throughout the world. The combat team looked at how the item sets they had created were being distributed and came up with a new plan so that instead of it being based on level bands and having gaps and things, we said, well, what if they're available consistently at all levels based on zone, just like we do with Dungeons and Trials. When they started looking at that plan and how we'd have to implement it, we realized we were 30 item sets short, so they went ahead and made them, which is pretty exciting. So there's now 30 new item sets going in with One Tamriel, all with, again, unique behaviors, unique bonuses. They're going to be dropping in all the different categories of gear slots, with a couple minor exceptions. And so players can really mix and match however they want between crafted sets, drop sets, etc. Each zone and each dungeon, each trial, each sourcing will have 3 item sets, 1 for each weight that is associated with that location. So if you really want a particular set and you know it drops in Oradon, you can go to Oradon and do different content in Oradon and make sure that you're getting what you want.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note, as part of this, we went back and we looked at quest rewards, because they were maybe not as good as they could have been.
Mm-hmm.
They sucked.
They suck.
And so, you'll be able to get item sets from doing quests now. Killing.
It's not just sell loot.
It's not just instant vendor trash, right? And you'll be able to get these sets from Dark Anchors and group bosses and public dungeons. And so, they also scale all the way through.
Up and down.
You can go there at level 10, complete a quest, get a level 10 set piece, go back there at level 40, kill a monster, and get that same set piece at level 40. So.
And the quest rewards tie into the same rewards you would get in the zone. So it's not like it's going to be a unique quest reward that if you've done it before, you can't get that set bonus again. No, it's going to tie into whatever is dropped in the zone.
Yep. So you can just play the way you want to play.
And as we tend to do, we added more motifs. This is something for crafters to unlock over time. We tied them into the existing content and some of the revamp content, some of the additional content. So there'll be 3 new motifs with 12. The Celestial, which is going in with the Celestial Trial weeklies. So you can start farming those. You won't be able to down level and farm at level 10
down level trials anymore,
because the whole world is now max level all the time. Craglorn, some of the Craglorn quests, which were always repeatables, but they might not have been as popular due to some of the difficulty associated with them. Now that they've been rebalanced, you can go and run the repeatables and get Yukuden, which has been long requested and kind of been in the wings there. And then Draugr, which will be an interesting style for people to unlock that ties in and is rewarded from doing all the dailies from Mages, Fighters, and Undaunted. So that's pretty exciting. And that's not it, because
there's more.
In going through and looking at the entire world, there were a lot of systems and subsystems that were based on level range. So, all right, if you're in Oradon, you get lower quality gear when you're stealing than if you're in Craglorn, because of the associated level. But now that everything's the same level, we had to rethink that. So, taking the stolen items as an example. We decided that, well, what if it was based on Legerdemain? So now the higher rank you are in Legerdemain, the more likely you are to get higher quality stolen items. So now you can go to Oradon and make a good profit if your Legerdemain is high enough. And I encourage you to kind of go to more places and things like that. Similarly, we affected and changed how Thieves' Troves are evaluated. So it's looking at your Thieves Guild rank, which again, kind of makes sense.
Yep.
And then gold was also based on the level of the target. So if you went to a high level area and hit a chest, it would be more gold than a low level zone. We don't have high and low level zones, so now everything is based on your level. So wherever you go, it's looking at your level. Harvest nodes are another thing that we looked at. These are now modeled very similarly to the way that we handled the DLC zones. So if you look at Orsinium and how that's broken up, that's now applied to the whole world. And the way that works is half of the nodes you find will be scaled to your combat level. So you're getting materials that you can craft for gear that you can equip. And half of it is based on your passive so that you can perform your daily writs and continue to level up. We also improved some of the rewards on the writs because there were some concerns over being able to acquire lower tier materials now that everything scales. So if you don't get a survey report when you hand in a writ, as sort of a consolation prize, you'll get a significant pile of a random lower tier material for you to stockpile if you want to help out a lower level friend, for example. One of the other things we touched were survey reports and treasure maps, which again were kind of tied to a given location or a given band. And now those can be assigned to go anywhere at any time. So you're not going to just be piling up all those Rothgar survey reports, en masse. You might be sent anywhere. Soul gems were another interesting question too, because now everybody is battle leveled, so you don't have the discrepancy between high level and low level, who can res who with what. Now all soul gems are going to be sourced as grand. They're still going to be used to recharge your enchantments, but we made sure that that will work more consistently across all the levels, and you'll just stockpile your grand soul gems. I think
So that was a little bit of inside baseball on kind of what you can expect. One Tamriel update 12 is on PTS now. So I encourage you to jump in, mess around with it. If you have any questions, any feedback, please send it our way. And I guess for now, let's jump to some questions, Jess, either here or on Twitch.
Yep, I've been gathering a lot of questions on Twitch, so we'll kind of hop back and forth. I see you have a question, so let's start with you.
Yeah, I was wondering what was going to happen with Cadwell Silver and Gold after One Tamriel.
Sure. So right now they're a difficulty, right? Silver is a little harder than normal, and gold is even harder. With One Tamriel, that goes away, and now they're just storylines. So they're still there. You can still do them. You still get the rewards. But now if you can do them out of order, so you can go in and play through every quest in the game, complete that before you get Cadwell Silver. And then when you get Silver, the quest will just automatically update with your progress.
Yeah, and you can do all 3 storylines at the same time so that you can just complete them all, bang, bang, bang. So
I know this guy.
So do quests now not have levels either,
Yes.
or are
Correct.
they okay? And
So
with-
every quest that you complete
is effectively
yellow.
is
your level.
always your level,
Yeah.
and so you'll never out-level an area.
Yep.
That's one of the big pieces of feedback we got a lot was if I do every quest in Glenumbra, I'm level 22 and they're gray and I'm not getting XP.
and then when I get to the next level, they're in the next zone, they would also be great.
and then in addition to that, is there a worry that people won't feel as powerful? They're not really gaining power relative to what they're fighting because it's all the same. Is there kind of like that? Hey, now I'm super powerful. I can go back and totally just wreck in this one area. I feel really great about that. You can't really do that anymore.
So you can. Leveling is now more of a personalized experience, right? You still have to unlock new skills. You still have to collect sky shards. You still have to unlock all of the guilds and things. But we've also got that equipment bonus, which is part of the leveling process. So when your gear gets weaker, you're getting weaker. So if you go and upgrade all your gear to, say, purple, and then you go back to an area, you're going to do
way
some
better.
serious damage. Jess ran back to her laptop.
Yep. Okay. So there, I've got a bunch. This is from Max Hazelot, and this question has come up a lot throughout the last few days. Will we ever have a chance to make achievements account-wide?
Not right now.
Yeah,
I mean, it's something we've talked about.
We've kicked
but-
it around.
Okay. This is from Turbo Geek Man Zeus. These names.
That's his real name, by the way. that guy.
How will there be a balance to farming resources and NPC drops in One Tamriel if we are all in the same spot?
But you won't all be in the
No.
same spot because every place in the world is now viable.
Yep.
Yeah. If anything, it might spread
You
people
don't.
apart a little more.
Exactly. You don't have to go. You can go to Auradon and still get max level crafting stuff, and you can go to whatever zone you're comfortable in, really.
Yep.
So find a spot.
Yeah, if it's crowded, go somewhere else.
Hey, there you go.
Okay. Any from the live audience? Hop back and forth. Okay.
I know that guy too.
Trouble.
Except I won't say your name live.
Can we get an emote where you literally just pull out a cup of tea and you're just dipping?
Yes.
Please?
You want a teabag emote?
I didn't say that. I said a cup of tea.
I think people have. He just literally coughed into my face.
Covered it.
No, I think you can get buy-in on that.
We'll put it forward.
comment.
We'll see. We'll see.
Teabag emote.
Okay, so let's see. This might be the same one. It's from Enodoc, but I'll read it and we'll see. Regarding Cadwell, how do you explain in-game the fact that you're able to travel to different alliances and fight for the enemy?
So that's already there with Cadwell.
Yeah.
So if you choose to do it out of order, that's your choice. There is an explanation in-game for it when you get there. So we don't really have to do anything differently.
And it's really like we're not really reinforcing your team until you get to Cyrodiil anyways. So.
But I mean,
That's
that's
where it matters.
already there now.
Yeah.
Okay. This is from Musoka1411. What about nodes? Are you going to be able to farm low-level mats, or will all nodes now scale to your crafting
So
level?
Phil touched on
Yeah,
that.
we just talked about it, but they're all going to scale, but there will be other means of getting
But
some of those lower
You
level
could you
materials.
explain how you're going to get the low-level mats if you
did.
want to make
Yeah,
with the survey reports?
with the writs
Yeah.
specifically.
Like
You
he
just
said.
tuned him out at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
That's
totally.
fine,
Like
that's fine.
blinded by
He
the
doesn't
light.
listen to me at work.
Live audience, any questions?
Don't be afraid.
Can we get some dragons in Skyrim?
Can we get some dragons? No
Oh, I
comment.
wish we had Lawrence here. He
No
could
comment.
explain the whole lore reason.
Yep.
There is a lore reason.
We have this debate back and forth, demons or dragons.
Daedric Titan.
What's your favorite? So, there's two camps.
This is from Miss Kigurumi. Can we still get the Cadwell hat reward from Cadwell Gold?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And the motif from Silver.
Yep.
From Relentless Glaren, how do you choose between the two different dungeons? For example, Banished Cells 1 and Banished Cells 2.
Good question. Did we get that fed to us? Because that was I don't know if that's
No.
actually been asked before.
Actual
So
question.
if you look on the map and if you click on the way shrine for Banished Cells, it will come up with an option to choose Banished Cells 1 or 2. The other way is if you organically try to go through and you go through the door, when you hit the door, you get a conversation that asks you which dungeon you want to choose.
And if you go through LFG,
If you go through
can choose it
LFG, you
directly.
choose it directly, Banished Cells 1, Banished Cells 2, and in normal or veteran mode of each of those.
Okay, any from the live audience? Okay. More
asking.
quick questions. This is from Danky Lord. Did we have Donkey Lord earlier? Or is-
I think we did.
Anyway,
I don't know if we had Danky Lord earlier.
will we still be able to downscale dungeons in
Nope.
One Tamriel?
Nope. No, not
Nope.
trials either.
no more
Nope.
cheesing trials
Nope.
and dungeons.
Nope.
So sorry.
All right, this is from Aherazo. Will I still get the seducer's costume when reaching veteran rank 5?
Well, veteran ranks are gone.
it's based on
but
champion point
It's based on champion. I want to say it's champion point, 20 champion points or
Well, it's
I think that one's 50.
I think it's
50 champion
I think it's
points.
50. But yes, you still get all of the rewards for champion ranks.
Okay, and this is similar to the question we already answered earlier about making achievements account-wide, but it's about motifs. Will we ever consider making motifs account-wide?
Count wide. Not right now.
no immediate plans.
Okay. This is from Joey. How can we now farm low-level nodes? How will that work?
So it's kind of the same question again, but as of right now, the main way to get lower tier nodes that are lower than both your combat level and your associated passive rank in the trade skill would be completing your daily writs in that trade skill, because every time you get your writ reward box and you don't get a survey report, which is, I think you get survey reports 25% of the time. The other 75% of the time you'll get a
Inside
good
baseball.
stock. You'll get a stockpile. Yeah, you'll get a stockpile of the lower tier refined materials. So you can kind of pile up over time, so you can craft for low-level players. We're keeping an eye on it, though. If we feel like that's insufficient, we may add additional sourcing to either somewhere in the world or through vendors or some other means. But that's the initial plan.
Okay, did anybody from the live audience think of any questions? No? Yes? Got one.
There.
So does Elder Scrolls Online have any of the like legacy characters in it, like Lydia from Skyrim and stuff like that?
So we have to be careful with a lot of those that we put in because we're in a different time period. We're like 1,000 years before Oblivion, Skyrim, something like that. So we're where we can, we do, because those recurring characters are really cool and players really love them.
And where it would make sense, so like you wouldn't see a Breton or a Nord because they're not as long-lived, but where you might see some of the elves or something like that
Mike,
because they're
those,
much more
those
long-lived,
characters
so you
are-
would see those in the past.
Mike is actually one of our fan favorites because he's a liar.
Yeah.
He tells
yeah.
stories.
I was talking about me. I was like, thanks, appreciate that.
You tell stories.
I do.
Kulon Dovulorn is asking when Witches Festival will go live.
It's around
It's
around
in,
Halloween.
It's
Halloween.
in October.
Yeah,
ish.
I want to say
I mean, it's a Tamrielic holiday, but it's generally around that time.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
announce
if you
the
look
specific
up
dates
Witches
as we get
Festival,
closer.
like you just look it up online, it has a date, and it will probably coincide with that date. This is from Geekman Zeus. Will we ever be able to skin an item to look like another piece? Like, could we mix and match different set pieces to set piece looks on different pieces of
So to
gear?
change the style of the item?
Just the look,
Yeah, the
yeah.
visual style?
Yeah, it's something we've kicked around a lot internally. We're not ruling it out, but nothing.
We don't have any
nothing
plans right
immediate.
now. I mean, you can dye your armor right now, and so I think that's more what we would prefer.
We're hearing that feedback more and more, though.
Yep.
For sure.
Especially as we add more motifs
Yep.
over time.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. They're pointing out that I keep mispronouncing his name. It's Greek Man Zeus, not Geek
I like
Man Zeus.
geek.
Sorry.
Geek
better.
Man Zeus.
Sorry, Greek. This is actually another question from him. Will there be any new PvP quests, such as dueling quests or even player set bounties on other players?
Wheeler.
No, not right now.
But we put dueling in.
All right, this is from Petrios 1. Will the faction story stay as is, or will something be done to accommodate new players who might unwittingly do things out of order under the pretext of free exploration?
We won't do anything to prevent new players from exploring and going around the world. I mean, what we have now is already pretty well explained. So if they do it out of order, it's okay. It might feel a little weird until they hit the point later on in the story where they're like, oh, it all makes sense and awesome, right? They thought of this stuff, so.
Okay. Got one here from... I'm not going to read this name.
Do it. I dare you.
Caca-pants.
Nice.
Regarding lower level nodes, would a respec with no points put into crafting allow for harvesting lower level nodes, or is that based on character level?
It's half and half.
Yeah, it's half and half. So if you did respec out of your trade skills, then half of the nodes would be reset back to tier 1.
Yep.
Oh, this is an interesting one.
You have another one in the room.
Could
too.
you change the background from the character selection to a background I want, or to the area my character is at the moment?
Probably not to the area that you're at.
I mean, I know Jared, who's our art director, has talked a lot about that. We don't have any plans right now, but it's something that we've kind of talked about. It would be really cool to be able to tell you what area you're logged out in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we have some questions here from our live audience.
With the way that leveling's working now, is zone progression still going to be kind of story-based? Or, like, I guess, what's to prevent you from jumping way ahead in the story of the faction that you're in, since it's all leveled the same?
So we're not doing anything new in terms of that. Like, you could do that right now if you wanted to. So, all of those, I don't want to say gates, but all of those provisions are already in place. So this just now allows you to go there more easily.
Yeah, for the quests that have linear progression through them and tell a story over several quests, they still may be gated by doing the previous quest.
Yep.
You can just go to the later areas and do some of the side areas and non-integral objectives, and then still go back and play through the story.
So the zone progression for the main story is still the same?
Yes, absolutely.
Hey guys, I've had some people reporting on the PTS that Craiglorn, the changes to Craiglorn are making it so that if they have done the quest lines previously, they don't have to do them again, but their progression has been wiped out.
Yep.
All of the way shrines have been wiped out. Is there anything?
All the way shrines
Yeah, they're saying that
shouldn't
like
have
the
been.
way
Or is that
shrines
now?
they've discovered have been removed and they have to go rediscover them.
Okay.
Is that something you can take a
Well, we can look at
The
yeah.
way shrine thing sounds like a bug.
Yeah, the quest was
the quest
done on
resetting
purpose
was
because we
deliberate.
changed the difficulty and we wanted to make sure, and the itemization, so we wanted to make sure everybody had a chance to go through.
Yeah,
and
but
do
things
it.
like sky shards and stuff, let us know if that got reset, because
Yeah,
that's not
it
intentional.
For fishing, are there plans to make fishing I
More
guess,
entertaining?
Exactly, yes.
We have-
Or maybe even to add stuff like not necessarily like a
That's
quest
his-
line or a faction.
That's his thing.
Yeah,
Maybe a faction.
We have a
specifically
whole
with fishing.
bunch of improvements that we would like to make to fishing. They're on the backlog, they're on the list. It's just a question of when does it make the most sense and how many of them can we hit. But we know there are PVF guilds out there. We would definitely
Player versus fishing.
We definitely want to support, fishing enthusiasts, all the master anglers that are out there.
Adding a fishing faction.
There are a lot of options, and we're sort of piling them up and evaluating them so we can.
He's constantly bugging me about.
Yeah, I would love to do it. It's just when can we do it?
I like salty brotherhood. I like that idea.
That fits for more than just fishing.
Right? Right. There's gonna be a lot of people max ranking that.
All right, we have one here from CDR Crisis on Twitch. Will there be more enchanting glyphs such as double stack glyphs, Magicka Health, Magicka Stamina, or Health Stamina?
I mean,
No plans right now.
No immediate plans. We do periodically grow and expand all of our trade skills, and we have added the prismatic glyphs in the past, and so we're always keeping an eye out for when we need to refresh them.
There's another question out here, Jess.
Okay. Another question from our live audience here.
Any plans for jewelry crafting?
Something we would like to do. No immediate plans is pretty safe to say, but we know that it's in demand. It's something we've talked about a lot. We're trying to make sure there are sources in game for jewelry in the meantime, but yeah, we'd like to have it too.
All right, we've got one here from Kelvar Jadewalker. Can the Mages Guild and Fighters Guild quest lines be completed at once like you can with the main story?
As in, oh, I see what they're saying. So right
Play
now,
straight through.
Right now, they're based on the next step in the quest is based on your rank in the guild, and we really like that. So we don't have any plans to change that right now.
Yeah, that's unchanged.
It's also based on where it physically is in your alliance zone, because like.
Sure, it is, but a lot of that is gated on your rank in the guild as well, right?
So this is an interesting one. I think, Phil and Rich, this might be for you. This is from Rail Venom. Why haven't we put the ability for role players to sit in every chair in the game yet? I know the answer to this, and I think it's a really good
I'm just
explanation.
gonna say we know. Yeah, we know.
It's a good question.
Okay.
It's a great question. Maybe that's a good enough hint.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions from the live audience? I'm just checking Twitch chat or anything. It's a lot of, are you working on this in the future? And we're not really talking about that stuff yet. We're talking about One Tamriel and focusing on that for now.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with One Tamriel. We really want to get
Quite a
everybody's
bit.
feedback from
Quite a
PTS
bit.
and live. There were things we didn't even talk about. I don't think we mentioned the key fragment changes for Imperial City
Oh, yeah,
going
forgot
in.
about that.
We did it
there's
another
a,
day pass.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
ton of fixes going in and improvements.
Somebody did confirm that all the weight trends are getting wiped.
Okay, we'll look at that.
It's a good catch. That's why we have PTS.
Any more questions from live audience? Yes, we have one. Okay.
Almost. Passed.
I have somebody telling me to ask if there's add-on support for consoles in the future, or if that's even possible.
So the hard part about add-ons on console is it directly affects the UI. And on PC, that's a little easier to do. We don't really have any plans right now on console.
Yeah, I think we can say, though, that we look at what the most commonly used add-ons are on PC, what players feel like is lacking or would help with their play progression, and evaluate whether or not we can improve the game for all platforms with that feedback.
Yeah, that's what I would say is we take a look and try to incorporate into our base UI, like we added what was the old loot drop and scrolling combat.
Yeah, the
text
loot
and
stream
all
is
that
really
other
nice.
Stuff like that. So anything that you would think that you would want, we're probably working on it, I guess.
Okay, we have some more from Twitch chat. This is from Achu. Bless you.
Bless you.
Are Undaunted keys that I have on me currently going to be able to be used when the patch comes out?
They will
Yes.
be
Yeah.
converted. They'll be converted to Undaunted keys.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter if it's bronze, silver, or gold. They will all be converted to Undaunted keys, and then you get one use.
So you can start stockpiling.
So stockpiling, save your silvers and your bronzes.
This is from Enodoc. Regarding the Mages Guild and Undaunted dailies, currently on PTS, the Mages Guild does public dungeons. Oops, that wasn't a question. Apologies, I thought there was a question there. Sorry. This is from Canker's Ore. With One Tamriel, the new
Canker's
sets
Ore?
that are any good seem to be stamina based. Is there any chance for Magicka to get anything more desirable in the future?
We're looking at it. That's definitely something that is top of the list. Is a lot of the perception is stamina is so much better than Magicka that there's no reason to be Magicka. And some of that is perception, some of that is truth in some cases, and so we're looking at that.
Okay. This is from Sadokian. Will there be skins released for the holiday events?
Oh, skins. In
Skins,
particular,
costumes, maybe?
there's costumes
Yeah,
coming.
there's,
Yeah.
there's
And there's
costumes
motifs
and,
coming.
and various collectibles. I don't know if there
I
are
don't
more
know if
skins
there's
specifically.
a skin. Yeah.
Specifically.
This is
Specifically
from
skin.
Elven Werewolf. Will One Tamriel let collectibles drop from all enemies instead of only vet enemies?
Well, all enemies
they're all-
will essentially be
All
the same
enemies
level.
are the
so,
same, yeah.
It'll be easier to collect those trophies for sure.
Yes.
Okay. Any more from our live audience? Okay. Take a look here at Twitch. This is from Jonesing. With being able to go to other Alliance territories, will I be able to travel to them, or is it only by way shrine?
You can do both. We put multiple pathways into the zones. Some cities have boat swings in them, some have carts in them. We unlock way shrines. You can travel to other players. There's a bunch of different ways you can get there.
And I know we've answered this one before, you guys, but it's coming up again. What was the reason why we decided to make Dungeon and Trial gear drops BOP?
So, from my view, I want you to participate in the content to get the gear. I don't want you to be able to go to a guild trader and buy the gear you want and then never do the content. So that was ultimately the big reason why we made that change. I totally understand as a hardcore player that is running these things that they're expensive, and it costs a lot to run through potions and repairs and things like that. So we're going to look at ways we can make that a little easier.
Yeah, I think the underlying concern there is that you're running this content and it costs a lot of money in potions and food, and the way you recuperated that cost in the past was with BOE gear. So if the underlying issue is the cost of it, there's ways we can alleviate that without doing BOE
While still
gear.
having that aspirational,
Right. While
gear
still
choice.
having the mandate of playing the content in order to get the gear, we can still also alleviate the cost prohibitiveness.
So we're getting a lot of requests, we'll say, for different types of mounts, and we've seen the Wamasu and we've seen a Silt Strider come up. I'm not going to ask you guys what's on the works because I know we don't talk about stuff, but just throwing that out there
Submit
that those
feedback.
have been
We read
those
it
have been
all.
requested. Yes.
Potato Lady knows this.
In the conversation of bind on pick gear, will it still be tradable within the instance?
Yes.
Okay.
Trade BOP is
And
still a
that
huge
was-
part of it,
that
and
was-
that is probably the biggest reason why we decided to go
Right.
back on all the BOE is because trade BOP is so awesome.
That was the start of that.
Yep.
We wouldn't do one without the other.
Yeah.
Any more questions from everybody here? Okay. Back to Twitch chat. I'm walking back and forth, so thanks for being patient, guys. Will we be able to have a city guard as a mount? Well
Is that a serious
then,
question?
I don't think so.
Mount?
Ew.
Get a piggyback ride? Yeah, I don't think
this is from Magnus Berglund. Will consoles ever have a text chat search function in guild stores? Please, please, we already have text chat.
Text chat. A search function in the store?
Yeah.
It's something we've talked about. There's a little more to it than just searching text because there's the capitalization, there's a bunch of other things associated with it.
but we would like to improve that experience.
Yeah.
This is from OMG Fizzy. With all these CP raises, are there plans for upping the CP level cap for gear?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay.
Not anytime soon.
Got another one from the live audience here.
It's actually not entirely from live. It's from Enodoc. There was a question buried in there earlier.
There was, okay.
So right now, Undaunted is mainly a group-based guild. You know, group dungeons.
Undaunted.
Whereas the Fighters Guild and Mages Guild are more solo.
Yeah.
Will the new daily quests still be good like that, or is it going to be reversed? Because it's kind of weird to be sent into a public dungeon and have to do something for a Mages Guild quest or a Fighters Guild quest that ends up being a group boss and not a solo boss.
The new Undaunted dailies generally send you to do tasks in delves,
That you can do
and you can do them solo.
You can do alone, yeah.
But what about the Mages Guild quest and Fighters Guild quest that are sending you in to dungeons, like maybe public dungeons that you have to do a group with? Is that something that's kind of like a disconnect if you're expecting to do it solo and you get in there and then all of a sudden now you need more people?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that that's a problem. There's still the older ways where you can go and just kill Daedra or collect books. This is just another way to kind of get a repeatable activity, and if you want to do it a little faster, you can go and you can do that.
Yeah.
All right, going back to Twitch chat. Sorry, guys, I'm checking. So, Im Vazgen keeps asking, and I asked him to clarify, but I don't know if he saw my question because chat's moving pretty quick. He keeps asking if we can make more livestock in the game.
I think
As in more pigs and chickens and cows?
I guess. I'm not sure why, other than maybe for crafting materials.
I mean, we've added new critters and livestock over time with the DLC areas.
Yep.
I would presume we would continue if it made sense to in a new region, for example.
Okay. This is from Miss Biz. Hey, Miss Biz. Are there any new mechanics in any of the new veteran dungeons?
No.
They're just harder?
They're just more difficult. Like we've taken a look at some of these things when we kind of increased the difficulty on the veteran, and we went back through and we tested to make sure that it still kind of didn't have too many crazy one-shots or anything like that. But the scope of all the changes that we had didn't really allow us to kind of go in and there might be new mechanics you see because we fixed bugs that other mechanics were
That's what I was
broken
going to say. You could breeze through most of them, so you ignored them.
Particularly like Tempest Island, if you saw us run that the other day, the tornadoes, we fixed some bugs with the tornadoes not showing up, so now they show up more. So
Feels
that
like a new
caused
mechanic.
a bigger issue than some people might have had to deal with and stuff. So
It's like us.
I think that you may see more mechanics because you didn't need to worry about them before.
Okay. Is Lich jewelry going to drop in the next patch? I know that's a very specific one. We
Lich
could always have them
jewelry?
check the patch notes too.
Yeah, I would just
don't-
double check.
We'd have to look.
Okay. In One Tamriel, will it be possible for one faction to group up and kill all the NPCs in another faction's home cities?
Nope.
That's not nice.
Well, I mean, no more than justice would allow anyway. I mean, you can murder most
Everybody,
NPCs in
yeah, I mean,
towns.
everybody is friendly in One Tamriel outside of Cyrodiil, and we still have the quest givers and whatnot that can't be killed by anybody, but there's still a lot of justice NPCs. So, yeah, if you want to murder all the justice NPCs, go nuts.
Yeah, Kavach is the
Get your
populated.
75 million bounty or
Awesome.
whatever that one guy has.
Any more
Terry?
questions from our
Yeah,
audience
that's
here? Nope. Okay. This is from Fat Mops. How are dailies compared to lore books, XP-wise?
Oh, probably rep-wise, I'm assuming.
Rep-wise?
I don't know exactly how they're balanced right now.
I don't think they're not intended to replace that. It's just a supplement.
Okay. You have a question up front? Okay.
If you are already capped for that particular faction, are these new dailies going to give you additional stuff, or is it just going to be the XP you would get otherwise and just not the rep?
I mean, you'll get experience in gold like you would with any quest. You'll also be getting the new
Motifs.
motif chapters.
Thematically appropriate adventuring.
But there's no like replacement for the rep if you're already capped.
Correct.
Okay.
You get even more undaunted.
so undaunted.
You're so undaunted, it hurts.
Okay, we'll probably take a few more questions here. We're getting close to the hour. Are there any plans to... What is with this apple farm?
Stop with the apples.
Okay, next question.
We hear about the apple farm.
Are we
apple
planning to add any buff timers for console?
We've talked about it. Yeah, we're working on stuff like that now.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered proposing new adventures with the Mages and Fighters Guild?
As in new stories?
Yeah, it sounds like it. I guess it's
No,
always
not really.
possible.
I mean, it's kind of go back and forth, but I would rather work on something new and maybe invent a new
Okay.
guild or faction at some point.
This is from Geomatic13. Will the new monster set Swarm Mother set work the same as Chains from Dragon Knights? Will they stun and disorient? I know that's very specific.
Yeah.
I'd have to
We'd have to
look.
check with the combat
I mean,
team.
we'd have to look. Yeah, it's on PTS, so you can kind of see
Try
that
it.
and
Yeah.
Yeah,
try
let
and
us know.
stuff. But yeah, we'd have to. There's a lot of new stuff in the game, so it's one of those things.
A lot to test out.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
PTS.
There's a lot of stuff that
46 new item sets?
Yeah,
with the monster
46
masks
with
and
the
the-
masks
yeah,
and
there's a
the
lot there.
sets. So.
Okay. In One Tamriel, will you be able to see opposing faction players when you travel to their region?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Any more questions from our live audience? Okay. I think we're going to wrap this up then. We're getting a lot of the same questions in chat. So thank you guys so much for joining us, both live and here on Twitch. We're going to go off for just a few minutes and get ready for our very last panel of the ESO headquarters at PAX West 2016, which is going to be our Mastering Trials and Dungeons with Mike Finnegan and...
And the rest of them.
What are you doing air quotes for, Brian? Mastering. Okay.
Mastering.
And some of our devs will run through a veteran dungeon. Which one are they going to do? Did you decide yet?
I think we're going to do the compare and contrast to the speed runs
Yes.
last night.
I think we're going to do veteran
And see how the
rooms
devs do in Mazda 2.
Veteran
So
rooms in Mazda
that should
2.
be interesting.
All right, so we will be
So I hope
right.
you guys have like 8 hours because that's what it's going to take. It's gonna take.
We'll be right back with that.